Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakkhurunimilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manovishnam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Soyam Rupakadamayam Dadati Sopadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sijuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Sri Raghunatham Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Savanalitam Sri Vishakham Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesya Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatrivasya Kripa Sindhuveva Cha Patitanam Pavanabhya Vaishnavya Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pasata Desha Tarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gauravaktamunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Today we are going to recite the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj as the appearance of the Lord Nrsimhadev, the august and adorable, auspicious appearance of Lord Nrsimhadev is near approaching on Thursday. So we should recite, although we are not so competent and we are not so qualified, but we must recite the prayers because it's a foundational, very important to recite these prayers to the best of our ability to glorify Lord Nrsimhadev. Because these prayers are very foundational for us to march or progress or advance in Krishna consciousness and devotional service. Because Prahlad Maharaj is a Mahajana, and we have been taught that the best method to progress in Krishna consciousness to follow the path advocated by the Mahajana. So in this opening notes, we will today recite the prayers and try to understand the assimilate and imbibe the meaning, understanding, and the mood of the devotional service, mood of these prayers recited by Prahlad Maharaj. So we're starting with these prayers. So Prahlad Maharaj is starting with these prayers when actually when Prahlad Maharaj, when the Lord Nrsimhadev appeared from the pillars to annihilate the miscreants Hiranyakasipu, that time all the demigods, after he killed, all the demigods came to Nrsimhadev, offered their prayers from Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Lakshmi. But it is such a fierceful, very fearful, very terrible, horrible incarnation that nobody can dare to approach him. Nobody can dare to pacify him. After killing also, he was still remain very angry, as if like he was going to, devastate entire world. So everybody was so frightened. Even the most his constant companion, Lakshmi Devi, is also very frightened, very fearful to approach Nrsimhadev. That time Lord Brahma pushed Prahlad Maharaj to go near to Nrsimhadev and prayer and pacify him. So in order to pacify him, Prahlad Maharaj is very starting the 7, 9, 8 of Srimad Bhagavatam 250, total 43 verses. He is rendering the prayers, offering prayers to Nrsimhadev. And eventually Nrsimhadev got very pleased, satisfied, and pacified. So today we are going to recite these prayers and try to know the meaning of these prayers, meaning and mood of these prayers. So Prahlad Maharaj is telling, how is it possible for me, who have been born in a family of Asura, to offer suitable prayer to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Even until now, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma, all the saintly persons could not satisfy the Lord by stream of excellent words. Although such persons are very qualified, being in mode of goodness, what is to be said of me? I am not at all qualified. So here Prahlad Maharaj is telling, even the Brahma, Lord Shiva, such a towering personality, Lakshmi Devi, Mother Lakshmi, they could not pacify Lord. They are in mode of goodness, and their prayers are very excellent choice. Uttama sloka. Yam Brahma, Varunendra, Rudra, Maruta, Tinbanti Divyastave. Divyastave, very transcendental prayer, because they are in mode of goodness. So, even though in mode of goodness and they afford the transcendental goodness, but Nrsimhadev is not satisfied. And I am born of very Asura family. See, that is the humility of pure devotee. Pure devotee is always humble. Although Prahlad Maharaj is a great devotee, exalted devotee actually. The demigods prayed to Nrsimhadev that Hiranyakashipu is torturing us, tormenting us. And Lord says that, okay, when the time comes, I will come. But for Prahlad Maharaj, Lord comes immediately appear. That means the position of the Prahlad Maharaj, how it is so exalted. Prahlada-𝒂𝒔𝒊. It is stated the quality of the Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlada-𝒂𝒔𝒊. And Mahaja-The, the exalted Mahabhagavata. Narada Muni, when the demigods approached to kill this Prahlad Maharaj when he was in the womb of Kayadu, so Narada Muni admonished the demigods that this child is a Mahabhagavata, is a great devotee, pure devotee of the Lord. But still, you can see here that how Prahlad Maharaj is so humble. I am not at all qualified. That is the humbleness. Nādapi suni-sena taroropi saichuna manīṣam kirtaniya sadahari. So in order to advance or in order to execute devotional service constantly, uninterruptedly, ahitukiya pratyata, constantly, one must have to humble. Because meek and humble impresses the Lord and also inherits the kingdom of the Godhead. Inherits the kingdom of Godhead. Therefore, our all Vaishnavas, they present themselves as very humble. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Gopi Bhattu Pada Kamalaya Dasa 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 Me Dasa. I am the servant of the servant of the servant. In material world, in material contest, more we become master, more we become, recognized. But in spiritual contest, more you become servant. Just like Kulasekara Alvar. Vutta vutta paricharaka vutta vutta vuttasya vutya. 7 times I am telling I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. Very startling statement by the Kulasekara, the great devotee of the Lord. Why? Because more and more we become servant, more and more we become exalted. Madhavakta pujyadika. Because Krishna do not know whosoever wanted to directly render devotional service. He do not recognize. Rather, he recognizes the servant of the servant. That is the Krishna's consideration. Therefore, all Vaishnavas, they always very, they think they're very, they always not only think, they consider themselves as a fallen. Because this is the mood that impresses the Lord and inherit the kingdom. So Prabhupada has written that how the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, beautiful statement he has given. Jagai madai hoite munire papishta purusera kita hoite muni se lagishta. He considered himself as one unqualified. The author of a great books like Chaitanya Charitamrita, the postgraduate study, the PhD on the science of Godhead. The author himself telling that I am unqualified, lower than a worm in a stool, more sinful than Jagai Madai. This is the way pure Vaishnava actually thinks of himself in this way. Similarly, although Prahlad Maharaj was a pure, exalted Vaishnava, he thought himself most unqualified to offer prayer to Supreme Lord. Maharaja-𝑗ana Every pure Vaishnava should think like that. One should not be falsely proud of his Vaishnava qualification. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is therefore instructed. Tinādapi suni-sena taroropi saisnana amanīna kirtaniya sadahari. So one should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Unless one is meek and humble, to make progress in spiritual life is very difficult. So one has to meek and humble, that impresses the Lord. that inherits the kingdom of the Godhead. That is the one ornament of the Vaishnava, to be humble. So this is a very good lesson. Every prayers of the Prahlad Maharaj is supremely beneficial for us to follow, to imbibe, to assimilate, to follow. Therefore it is said that Mahajana-jena-gata-sapantha. Dharmasya tattam nitam guhaya. Dharmasya tattam, the solid truth of the dharma, religiosity, religious principle, has been hidden in the heart of the great devotee like Mahajana. So therefore, whatever the path they advocate, one should follow. Then we can be successful. Then his continuation of the prayers, this very nice prayer, that very important verses. Manya-dhana-vijana-rupata-pasu-sutta-josas. He is very nicely continuing his prayer that Prahlad Maharaj continue. One may possess wealth and aristocratic family, beauty, austerity, education, sensory expertise. All this material qualification cannot satisfy the personality of Godhead. This is beautiful verses. All this material qualification, that is not the way to satisfy. Our whole idea to satisfy the Lord. Jagannatha tustam jagata tustam. If you satisfy the Lord, that is our final thing. Please the Lord is our sanam banam of life. And that is only possible by devotional service. Bhaktyatūtasya-bhagavāna. Prahlad Maharaj telling, no, this material qualification is not the criteria. Not the important thing, significant thing to please the Lord. To please the Lord, we have to execute the devotional service like Gajendra did. Gajendra prayed. Gajendra prayed to the Lord with utmost devotions. My Lord, please come and protect me. And Lord came. Lord is pleased. Immediately came and protected Gajendra. Therefore, there are so many elephants who has been killed by crocodile, who has been in that same situation. You can see the geographical channel. But why Gajendra is so special? Because Gajendra did this bhakti. Gajendra prayed. The reaction to this very adverse situation, that made the Gajendra to be appeared, even referred by great Prahlad Maharaj. He is referring Gajendra. He is giving the reference of Gajendra Bhakti because he prayed to the Lord in a very precarious situation. Heartfelt prayer. Otherwise, there is no other qualification. I am a great Brahmana, I am great. Nothing can, please the Lord. That is, in this regard, there is a very beautiful verses. It is said that the very nice verse spoken by Rupa Goswami, that did the hunter named Dharma have any piety? Did the age disqualify for 5 years old Durga? Did Gajendra, who lived by Trikut mountain, possess any learning? Did Mathura's Kubja, the maid servant of Kansa, have any beauty? Did Sudama Brahmana, the friend of Krishna, have any wealth? Did the social status of Vidura disqualify him? Did the prowess of Ugrasena, king of Prajadu, disqualify him? Madhav was pleased with devotional service. He is not pleased by material quality. That is a very important. Bhaktyatū kevalam nacha gunair bhakti priya madhava. Beautiful. See, we do not see any, the hunter has no piety. He was killing these animals half dead. But somehow he got the mercy of the Krishna. Durga was only 5 years. The age is not so mature to perform devotional service. Nonetheless, Lord is satisfied by his devotional service. He performed the austerity in Madhuban, Vrindavan. And Lord is very pleased. Within 6 months he appeared. Gajendra, no learning, he is an animal. But still he executed. He prayed to the Lord when he was in a very precarious situation, very adverse situation. He was in trouble. Kubja, what is the beauty of Kubja? But still, he can satisfy the Lord by offering chandan, offering the sandalwood paste to the Lord. That is devotional service. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate matabhyam. patram puspam phalam tvam jo me bhaktya pravachati tadaham bhakti uparatam asnami. Vishwanath Chakravarti is writing that Krishna says that these 4-line verses Krishna is using so emphatically the bhaktya. It looks like redundant. No, it is emphatic. Only by bhakti I can accept it. Without bhakti I am not going to accept all the things. Whatever you send, like there is a beautiful verses Sudama Vipra is speaking. Very nice verse. Krishna is speaking to Sudama Vipra. Sri Bhagavan upasa kimupayannanitam brahman me bhavata grihat anuapi upahritam bhaktei premna guri eva me bhavat guri api abhakta aprahat upahartam name tosaya kalpate. So it's same thing. Supreme Lord say, "O Brahmana, what gift have you brought me from home? I regard as great even smallest gift offered by my devotee in pure love. Bhaktya with bhakti, not by material qualification." Sudama was not so wealthy to impress the Lord. So become wealthy is not the criteria to impress. But even great offering presented by the non-devotee do not please me. So if a non-devotee, there is no way. So therefore the material qualification is not the criteria to please, but only bhakti. Very good lesson by the Prahlad Maharaj prayers. So then he was praying, he was further praying about these beautiful things like Brahmanas. So Brahmanas have 12 qualities. But by this 12 quality, but if he is not a devotee and he is averse to the lotus feet, he is certainly lower than a devotee dog eater. So the Brahminical qualification also, although he has got all the qualities, Brahminical qualities, very exalted qualities, sama, dhamma, tapa, saucha, arjavam, everything, all this big gana, vijnana, astikyam, all these things, qualities he may endure, but he is not a devotee. Then he is not considered to be, great. It is stated in beautiful verses in Bhagavad-Gita. Krishna spoke that, Prabhupada has quoted very nice in 2.8. The Sat, this is a beautiful about Brahmana. Sat karma nirpuna vipra mantra tantra visarada avaisnava guru nasyat vaisnava supata guru. Sat karma nirpuna, a scholarly Brahmana expert in all subject of Vedic knowledge, is unfit to become spiritual master without being a Vaishnava. So unless a devotee, he cannot. He is unqualified in all respect. You cannot please the Lord also. That is the criteria. So this is the prayer of the Prahlad Maharaj, and Prahlad Maharaj telling all this is done not because all this devotional service we are presenting. This is not for you. Just like we are praying all this devotional service. Gajendra also prayed, and all this devotional service, Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, all this devotional service we are executing. Actually, it is not that Naivatmana Prabhu, I am Nijalabha Punna, not that, Lord wants it. I mean, it is not for the Lord's benefit, it is our benefit. Lord is glorified even after we do not glorify. He is already glorified. But when we glorify, this is for our benefit. We want God. God does not want. He is self-sufficient. Nijalabha Punnam, he is self-sufficient. He is Atmaram, he is Punnam, Sadaischara Punnam. Om Punnam, Adam Punnam, Idam Punnam, Punnam Visishyate. Punnasya Punnam Adaya, Punnam Eva Vasishyate. So he is sufficient, he is full, complete. He does not need the devotional services for our purification, because we have contaminated. By rendering service to the Lord, we can purify ourselves and go back to Him. Not that, because I am rendering service to the Lord, because Lord will get some benefit. No, this is our benefit. Prabhupada says that in this verse, Supreme Lord, Godhead is always fully satisfied in Himself. Therefore, when something is offered to Him, His offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of the devotee, for the Lord does not need any service from anyone. To give an example, one face is decorated. The reflection of one face in a mirror is also seen to be decorated. So we are the reflection of the God. When you decorate the God, when you offer prasadam, we will be happy, content, and purified. Just like we have decorated our face. We cannot see our face. We have to see through the mirror. Similarly, our happiness, our purification, our satisfaction through the Lord. Reflection. This is our benefit. Not that Lord, getting benefit. Lord Satasaharsa Sambram, Lakshmi Satasaharsa Sambram Sebhyamanam. Thousand of Lakshmi is serving. He does not need our prasad. This is our benefit. In this way, moving to the next one. So in this way, the prayers is going on. Continuing the prayers, Prahlad Maharaj. Therefore, although I was born in demoniac family, I may without a doubt offer prayer to the Lord with full endeavor as far as my intelligence allows. Anyone who has been forced by ignorance to enter the material world may be purified by material life if he offers prayer to the Lord and hear the Lord glory. Very important point. How to offer prayer, glorify the Lord and hear the glorification of the Lord. Two things is very important. Unless we glorify the Lord and hear the glorification of the Lord, we cannot purify it. Sunvatam sokatha Krishna punya sravana kirtana udayantustani avadrani vidunati shlastata. We are contaminated now. Only way to remove that contamination is by hearing process. Sarvanadi sudachite kariyaika. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that by hearing process you can awaken our dormant consciousness. Also, this Srila Vyasadev very nicely say, Jassang bhai sriyamanayam Krishna paramapurushe bhakti rutpadate punsam sokom bhayopa. Although we are so much contaminated, but nonetheless we are advised to glorify and hear the Lord. By this process we can decontaminate, disentangle from this material existence, from material inabilities. So there is no qualification. I'm just like now we are hearing and glorifying. Although we are unqualified, incompetent to offer the prayers like Prahlad Maharaj, nonetheless we are following the Mahaja-The. Nonetheless we should recite these prayers to invoke the auspiciousness, mercy of the Lord. That is the things here it has been told. Prahlad Maharaj is praying that. So we should recite the prayer. These are the foundational prayers for advancement in Krishna consciousness. Foundational prayers. Without hearing and glorifying, nobody in this world can be satisfied. It is stated in beautiful verses in Bhagavatam that without sufficient beautiful verses are there. So it is stated that who in the human society can be satisfied without hearing sufficient talk of the Lord, whose lotus feet are the sum total of all places of pilgrimage, who is worshipped by the great sages and devotees. Such topics can cut off one's bondage to family affection simply by entering the holes of one ear. So that is the thing. Who cannot be satisfied? Therefore, nonetheless, whatever our qualification, we should pray. Mami 𝒑𝒐𝒏 Everybody can approach me by this offering of prayers and hearing in chant. Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. That is the process of bona fide process, certified by the great Mahaja-The, Prahlad Maharaj. So then we move to the next verse because we have 43 verses. So we have to go to all the verses. 7, 9, 12. As born in India, demoniac. 7, 9, 13 is O my Lord, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma, sincere servant of Lordship, were situated in a transcendental position. Therefore, they are not like us, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad and his father, the demon Hiranyakashipu. Your appearance is the fearsome form is your pastime for your own pleasure. Such an incarnation is always meant for the protection and improvement of the universe. That is very, very important. So, Lord's all purpose of appearance, whether he is appearing is as a fearful appearance or very pleasing appearance. The purpose is dharma sanstapana, paritrānaya sadhana vināsasya duṣkritam. Dharma sanstapana to protection for the improvement of the universe. It's meant for protection, to protect these devotees and establish the dharma. Without dharma, whole universe will be in chaotic. Therefore, his purpose is actually, for this purpose also another purpose is to please, to enjoy his own pleasure, own pastime. That is stated in Brahma Samhita, that what is that verse? Golokeva nivasati akhilatma bhuttam. What is that verse? Golokeva nivasati. 537, yes. Ananda chinmaya rasa patitavistavi nija rupataya kalavi. Goloka. See, Ananda chinmaya rasa patitavistavi. To enjoy his own pastime, he displays all the things. Otherwise, it has nothing to do with this material existence to come. Hiranyakasipu is not that so big, he will come and kill, From the pores of the body, the billions, millions of the universes is coming out. Just say, īśvarasya kalam atavalam vejivanti lama biladita kadandanata visrur mahansaya jasya kalavisesa govindamadi purusam tamaham bhajami. And so many millions, trillions of universes is coming out. And to kill a demons in one of the universe, he does not have to come personally. But why he is coming personally? To protect his devotees and to enjoy his own pastime. This mercy, that is also stated in Bhagavatam, Brahmaji speaking, that this is your own pastime. Anugrahaya bhaktanam manuṣam dehamastitam bhajate tadriskita yasutta. Anugrahaya bhaktanam, to protect, to give mercy to the devotee. That is whole idea is of the whole idea of the cause of the divine descent or the incarnation, to show the mercy. So we will go to the next verse, next prayer. That actually pacifying, telling that my Lord Nrsimhadev, you are coming, you are appearing in such a fearsome form, not to actually intimidate, frighten others. No, your purpose is not to intimidate. His own pleasure, I come, my own pleasure, whatever the appearance. Because Krishna is independent, he can take any form. His own pleasure, and to protect the devotees and for the betterment, to establish the dharma, so that, for betterment of the universe, for every living being. Is not to frighten, intimidate. Therefore, he is pacifying, Lord, this is not your purpose to frighten others. No, you are not that of the things. You are great, In this way, he is pacifying the Lord. The next verses is very nice also. My Lord Nrsimhadev, please therefore cease your anger now that my father, the great demon Hiranyakasipu, has been killed. Since even saintly person take pleasure in killing scorpion and the snake, all the worlds have achieved great satisfaction because of the death of this demon. Now they are confident of their happiness. They will always remember your auspicious incarnation of Nrsimhadev in order to be free from fear. That is the beautiful thing. So in order to fear from the fear, in order to free from the fear, your auspicious incarnation of Nrsimhadev. Ito Nrsimha parato Nrsimha jata jata jami tato Nrsimha. Therefore we are frightened. This world is full of fear. And the point is that here it is said that the sadhus also don't keep angry, but even the sadhu, when this snake and scorpion, they are called envious animals, envious creatures, species. Even after you have no fault, the snake will bite you. Even after you have no fault, scorpion will bite you. So envious persons also there, like Hiranyakasipu. They will somehow envious of God, envious of others, envious of devotee. Although Prahlad Maharaj never did harm, they are by nature envious, and they are very much detrimental than scorpion and snake. Because snake and scorpion, they have no knowledge, but human being has knowledge. So he can be more dangerous and detrimental compared to these species. Therefore, Chanakya Pandita say that there are two kinds of envious person. One is snake, scorpion, another is the human being. And human being is more dangerous. So here he is pacifying that my father Hiranyakasipu, he is like a scorpion and snake. And he is killed, everybody happy, devotees are happy. So you also should be happy, my Lord. You don't be so, keep your anger. Already my father is done. He died already. He is killed by you. And this auspicious incarnation is not to frighten others. So if you keep your angry, everybody will be frightened you. Oh, this incarnation is frightened. How can we worship him? So better you give up your anger. Pacify. Please be pleased. My father already killed. And this incarnation is meant to dissipate the fear, remove the fear from the others. Whosoever remember. So that is the way that how he is praying. Very nice. Although the sadhus are very paropakara, they never like to kill even ants also. But nonetheless there is an exception. They are very happy when the snake and scorpions are killed. Because these envious peoples, they will disturb others unnecessarily. Prabhupada also have a same incident happened when he was in Chaitanya Math 1933. He was taking bath, there was a snake and coming, so his Guru Maharaj Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati was in the upstairs. And he ordered, everybody asked Guru Maharaj Bhakti-Siddhanta that what to do snake. And he ordered to kill. So Prabhupada was telling why this great sadhu, he was surprised little. Why great sadhu ordered to kill the snakes? They could have thrown out. Then finally when he read these verses, he realized that, the sadhus also get pleasure, modate. It says the modate means satisfied by the killing of this scorpion and snake. So next, my Lord, you are never conquered by anyone. I am certainly not afraid of your ferocious mouth and tongue, your eyes bright like sun, your frowning eyebrow. I do not fear your sharp, pinching teeth, your garland of interest, and your mane soaked with blood, your high with like ears. Nor do I fear your tumultuous roaring, which makes the elephant flee to distant place, your nails which are meant to kill your enemy. A very good description of the Lord Nrsimhadev. It's not imagination. Lord form is not imagination. It's authorized. It's authorized. Prahlad Maharaj saw that he's describing the form of the Nrsimhadev. How he has so much frowning teeth, frowning eyebrows, and very fearful pinching teeth, All these things has been described. He saw the Lord face to face. Just like Brahma is explaining that Venam Kwanantam Aravinda Dalayatatam Varahat Batam Samasita Sundaragam Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Sobha Govinda Madi Purusam Tamaham Madami. Similarly, here it is Prahlad Maharaj face to face. The Lord forms is not kind of imaginary form. It's not some kind of imagination. No, it's a real form, authorized form. The devotee has seen the Lord face to face. Therefore, they are describing. So it's a description of the form. And Prahlad Maharaj, another point, he told, I am not fear of that. I am not fear of you, my Lord. Although you are very fearful, I am not fear. That is the equation of devotee. That is the viewpoint of devotees and Supreme Lord. Just like a lion. Lion is fierceful animal. And he is feared by everyone. Every other animals, but his child cub, he is not fearful of that. Why? Because cub has taken shelter of his lion, his father or mother, lion or lioness. Similarly, the great sea is very dangerous. The flow, the current is so high that even a great elephant, the big elephant, gigantic species like elephant can be swept away. But a small fish is enjoying against even the waves. He is not fear of that. Why? Because fish is taking shelter of the sea. Then devotees, those who are taking shelter of the Lord, they do not fear. For them, Lord, whatever the forms Lord come, whether fearful or pleasing, for him, Lord is always very pleasing. Archa Vigraha, his Asraya Vigraha, Asraya Vigraha, because they have taken shelter of the Lord. That is the difference between devotee and non-devotee. Non-devotee fears because they have not taken shelter, like Hiranyakasipu. He is very frightened when he saw the Hiranyakasipu. He was surprised, he was frightened that what kind of species it is. But for devotee, it is very pleasing, Lord form is. Then we can move, we can explain a little more, but the thing is that we have no, because we have to complete all these prayers. Naham viveti, beautiful. My Lord, who are never conquered by anyone, I am certainly not afraid. This is very nice. In the second verses, we will go next verses. These are beautiful verses. O most powerful, insurmountable Lord, who are kind to fallen soul, I have been put into association of demons as a result of my activity. Therefore, I am very much afraid of my condition of life within this material world. When will that moment come when you will come, when you will call me to shelter of your lotus feet, which is your ultimate goal for liberation from conditioned life? Very, very important. Material world is certainly miserable. So a devotee always see the material world not happy. That is not a devotee. That is neophyte devotee. They will say, I'm happy, very nice, goody goody, everything is fine. No. Always we should think that material world is very fearful, very dangerous. And that is actually true. Padam padam yad vipadam. Every step is dangerous. That gives us the impetus to get out from the material world. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj is telling, I am not afraid, you fearful form. I am not afraid of this conditional material existence, conditional life in material existence, because it is very dangerous. It is stated in the beautiful verses that, what is that, 424, 40 or something. Let's see. That. No. The beautiful verses is there. That the ocean of nescience is very difficult to cross because it is infested with many dangerous sharks. Although those who are non-devotee undergo severe austerity penance to cross that ocean, we recommend that you simply take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are like a boat for crossing the ocean. Although ocean is difficult to cross, by taking shelter of his lotus feet, you will overcome all danger. That is beautiful verse, 422-40. This ocean of nescience is very dangerous. That means material life is padam padam yad bipadam. Samasrita padapalplavama. Samasrita. This material nescience is very, very dangerous. Insurmountable. Dangerous shark, infested with many dangerous sharks. To cross it, very difficult. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj is fearful. All devotees should follow and always fearful of this material existence. It's not a place of happy. Therefore, Prabhupada used to say, my Guru Maharaj used to say that this place is not for the gentleman. As soon as you should get out from this place. As soon as. Very sanskara, this is stated in another verses, that it is very duskara. Sansara Sindhu Ati Dustaram. Ati Dustaram means very, very, Dustaram is impossible to cross. For a person who is suffering in the fire of countless misery, who desire to cross the insurmountable ocean of material existence. It's an insurmountable ocean of material existence. There is no suitable boat except that of cultivating devotion to this transcendental taste for narration of the Supreme Personality. Rupa Goswami also praying that. Even Raghunath Das Goswami also praying. Very nice prayers are there. Sometimes we will hear that. That this material existence is fearful. Even if your devotee, exalted devotee also, they are always fearful of that. Because they know that this Maya is very strong. Mama Maya Durata. Krishna says that this Maya is very, very difficult. Mama Maya Durata. Yamam prapadyante Maya itam taranti. So we should take shelter of, we should follow the Mahaja-The. We should always consider this material existence as a very dangerous place and always endeavor to get out. That is the teaching of Prahlad Maharaj. So we go to next verse. Next verse it is stated here that, O Great One, O Supreme Lord, because of the contact with displeasing circumstances and separation from pleasing circumstances, one is placed in the most regrettable position. On the heavenly or hellish planet, burning in a fire of lamentation. Although there are many remedies which to get out of miserable life, any such remedies is, in the material world are more miserable than misery themselves. Therefore, I think only remedy to engage in your service. Kindly instruct me in such a service. Very important verses. Real remedy. Dukkhosadam tadapi dukkham. Very nice word. Dukkhosadam. So in this material world, in the previous verse, he told, I am fear of material existence because material existence is fearful. Very difficult to cross, insurmountable, infested by sap. Now it is saying that if anybody challenge it or anybody try to make a plan to cross it and try to make any plan to, any remedy to get out from this challenging situation, the solution itself is more problematic than the problems. Dukkho osadam api dukkham. The remedy for the disease is more, dangerous. Creates more problems. That is the nature of material world. Dukkhalayam asaswatam. Krishna say, the manufacturer, the creator of this material world, he himself certified that it's a dukkhalayam and also temporary. And if we try or any endeavor to make it a place of happiness is just a fertility, the fertile. Rather, it will create more and more problems. Just like we have created so many things, so many traffic, roads, etc. More and more we get in confront the accident. We have created the plane, flight, so many things, more and more death. So all these things, all this, formula for a plan, a remedy to counteract the problem is more problematic than the problem itself. So it will not solve the problem. Very nice. So therefore he is very afraid. Because there is no solution for this. We cannot counteract it. It is stated in these beautiful verses by Narada Muni also. It is stated that any kind of solution, the living entity trying to counteract different miserable conditions pertaining to providence other living entity or the body, mind, that is ātmik-ādi-dvayika-ādi-bhuti. Still they must remain conditioned by the law of nature despite all attempt to counter all attempt to counter this, that is very important. All attempts to counter these laws. So here it is Narada Muni also confirmed. Narada Muni himself is Guru. He also say that we trying so many plans to counteract all this miserable conditions of material life, but we cannot do that. Despite all our attempts, we cannot find the solution. Here also he says that solution is itself is a more problematic. As soon as you want to create a solution, then our problem is more and more increased. Prahlad Maharaj also say that 7.742. Our distress starts when you plan to become happy. When you plan to make a solution for that. So only solution given to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. Nothing else. Very nice verses. So then we can go to the 7, 9, 18. O my Lord Nrsimhadev, by engaging your transcendental loving service in the association of devotee who are liberated soul, so I shall become completely uncontaminated by the association of three modes of material nature. Be able to chant the glories of Lordship, who are so dear to me. I shall chant your glories exactly in the footstep of Lord Brahma, his disciplic successor. In this way, I shall undoubtedly able to cross the ocean of nation. This formula is given. How to get out? It very nicely say that it is. This beautiful word he is using. Virincha means Brahma. Virincha Gita means we should follow the disciplic succession. Devotee lives and duty are very well explained herein. This is a very important verse. As soon as devotee can chant the holy name and glories of Supreme Lord, he certainly comes to the liberated position. Attachment for glorifying the Lord by hearing, chanting the holy name and activities of the Lord, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, certainly brings one to position where the material contamination is absent. One should chant the bona fide songs received from the disciplic succession. Bhagavad-Gita it is stated that chanting is powerful and it follows the disciplic succession. So this is the thing. This is very, very important verses because the principle of devotional service, the duty of devotional service, devotees, that one should hear and chant the holy name. Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, Iti Punsarpita Vishnu Bhakti Chena Navalakhyana, Kriyate Tada Bhagavata-Da, Tad Uttamam Manyate. They are the best process. What is the best process here given? That by the process of hearing and chanting one can cross. Otherwise there is no way. There is no way to cross this material existence. The solution is given. And one has to follow this disciplic succession, how they have done it. Evam param prapartha. Otherwise all our process become failure. Sampradhanamina mantrate nispala. So we should follow the Mahajana, just like Gaudiya Sampradaya, the Brahma, the Sampradaya, four Sampradaya. We are Brahma, Gaudiya, Madhva Sampradaya. So Brahma is the originator of our Sampradaya. So we should follow the Brahma, the teaching of Brahma, teaching of Prahlad Maharaj. In that line, Brahma, Narada, Prahlad coming. So we should follow the Mahajana. Mahajana Jena Gata Sapanta. Otherwise we will fail. So this very nice things is given. We should do this Sravanam, Kirtanam, Bhakti. By hearing, chanting is most important, essential. Without hearing, we are so much neophyte. So how to cross this ocean of nations? This is very beautiful. Balasya smaranam pitaro narsingva nattasya sagadam manti majato no tapaschatat pratividirya iha jasestas tavad vibhutano britam twat upakhitanam nam means you are neglected. When we neglect the Supreme Lord, what will happen? Lord will not care for us. My Lord Nrsimhadev, O Supreme, because of a bodily conception of life, embodied soul neglected and not cared for by you, you cannot do anything for their betterment. We are torn away the place. Lord is convincing us that sarvādharman parityāja mām ekam saranam bhaja. We are so adamant. We are not cared for. If we are not cared for, Prahlad Maharaj is giving that I am not afraid of your fearful form. I am afraid of material existence. Because material existence is very fearful. It will drowning us in the ocean. It's insurmountable. And best way to take association to perform devotional service under any association of devotee under the disciplic succession. But if you do not care, I don't care for the Lord. I do not approach to Lord. I do not take shelter of the Lord. I do not hear about the glories of the Lord. I do not speak the glories of the Lord. Then we are neglecting tadupakhitam. What the Nrsimhadev, what the Lord will, do to us. How can we protect by the Lord? How can we get out from this? So Nrsimhadev this Prahlad Maharaj is warning us. Is warning us. Because of bodily conception of life, we have neglected the Lord. We have forgotten the Lord. You cannot be protected. You will be drowned in this ocean. He is warning us. Whatever you try, whatever the plan you do, you are doomed to failure. You are doomed to mogo asa, mogo karma, mogo guṇa-visargam. Asurim, you are asura. So there are sura and asura. Asura means they are against the God. So if you are not caring for the God, if you are not approaching the God, you are asura. And asura cannot be protected. Hiranyakasipu cannot be protected. Despite so many protections, so many blessings from the Brahma, almost immortality. But he was killed. In a minute, he was killed. Similarly, here example has been given by Prahlad Maharaj. He has given an analogy, example to make this point very clear for us. That we should not be very puffed up and torn away from the Lord. We will be finished. He will be perished. Krishna also say, Madachita sarva durgani. Mada prasadat karishyasi. My mercy, if you take shelter of me, we can cross this ocean of material existence. Otherwise, you will be vinakhyasi. If you do not hear to me, you will be lost. Here example is given, father, mother cannot protect their child. We have seen practically. Although father, mother are very protective towards child, but child is getting disease, cough, cold, COVID and dying also. A physician, medicine cannot relieve suffering patient. A physician or doctor, so many infrastructure, so many medicine is there, but still patients are dying. Boat on this ocean cannot protect a drowning man. It cannot. Even though there are so many boats for rescue, but the people are drowning. So that is the thing that we cannot do unless it is sanctioned by the Lord. So unless it's sanctioned by the Lord, unless we get the mercy of the Lord, we cannot. Not a blade of grass moves without sanctioning of the God. So therefore we are neglected, we are not protected because we are not serious and sincere. We turn away from the Lord. As a result, we are suffering. So this is a warning by Prahlad Maharaj to all the devotees. No, do not neglect the Nrsimhadev. Do not make it a formal one-day affair. We should hear, glorify the Lord. Always take shelter of Him. The beautiful verses in this regard. That those who have turned away from the Supreme Lord Vasudeva, being under the spell of Lord's illusory energy, are eventually forced to give up their so-called home, children, friends, wives, lovers, which were all created by illusory potential of the Supreme Lord, enter against their will into darkest region of the universe. Because of bodily consistent life. Because of bodily consistent life, we have neglected the Lord, we have turned away from the Lord. Krsna Consciousness nikatastha mayatare jhapatiya dhare. So we have turned away, then repercussion is very, very dangerous. This is a warning of Prahlad Maharaj, that once we turn away from the Lord, repercussion is consequences is very drastic and very debilitating, decimating, devastating consequences. So we will go to next verse. My dear Lord, everyone in this material world is under the modes of material nature, being influenced by the goodness, passion, ignorance, everyone. From the greatest personality like Lord Brahma down to the small ant, works under the influence of three modes. Therefore, everyone in this material world is influenced by your energy, the cause for which they work. So here it is said that everybody is under the modes of nature. As soon as we turn away from the Lord, we are conducted by modes of material nature, mode of goodness, mode of passion, and all. We are influenced by the modes actually. Therefore, our action is. Therefore, and then next verses is telling that he's praying that, O Lord Supreme Eternal, by expanding your plenary portion, we have created the subtle body of living entity through agency of your external energy, which is agitated by time. Thus mind. So here it is saying that if the hand of Supreme Personality of Godhead is present in everything, where is the question of being liberated from material engagement to the spiritual, blissful life? That is the thing. Since 7:9:19, he told that unless we take shelter of the Lord, we cannot. If we think that we are independent because we are not in spiritual world, we are in this material world, under the modes of material nature, and we are free, no. We are still under the modes of material nature. We cannot be independent, out of law. Outlaw is not out of law. Either just like a person, either he is under civil law, if he transgresses the law, under criminal law, in the imprisonment. We cannot be free under any time. Either we are Mahamaya or Daivamaya or Jogamaya. If you are devotee, you are under Jogamaya. If you are not devotee, you are Mahamaya. So in every circumstances, Lord's hand is there. Without Lord, we cannot be liberated. Lord says, ahaṁ sarvāsya prabhavamatah sarvam prabhatate iti mattva vadante mā buddha mā vasamana. He is not only Vaikuṇṭhapati, he is the Supreme Lord, Supreme Controller of all this spiritual and material world. Lord Krishna says, ahaṁ sarvāsya prabhavamatah sarvam prabhatate iti mattva vadante mā buddha. Intelligent person knows that I am not independent. Only way to get out from this, take shelter of the Lord. Beautiful prayers, Then he's continuing that, my Lord, the Supreme Great, you have created this material world. Sorry, this one. My dear Lord, people in general want to be elevated to higher planetary system for long duration of life, opulence, enjoyment. But I have seen all this through activities of my father. When my father was angry, he laughed sarcastically at the demigod. They were immediately vanquished simply by seeing the movement of his eye. Yet my father, who was so powerful, has now been vanquished by you within a minute. So he is telling that people thinking that they can go to the elevated higher planetary system for the duration of life, enjoyment, all this arrangement for happiness, arrangement for the long life, everything is actually vanquished. It's a transient, very transient. Within this material world, one should understand by practical experience the value of material opulence, longevity, and influence. We have actually experienced that even on this planet there have been many great politicians, military commanders like Napoleon, Hitler, Subhash Chandra Bose, Gandhi. But as soon as their lives were finished, their popularity, influence, everything else were finished also. Prahlad Maharaj was formerly gathered the same experience by seeing his activities of Hiranyakashipu, his great father. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj did not give any importance to anything in this material world. No one can maintain his body material achievement forever. Vaishnava can understand that nothing in this material world, not even that which is powerful, opulent, or influential, can endure. At any time such thing may be vanquished. And who can vanquish them? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should conclusively understand that no one is greater than Supreme Great. Since Supreme Great demands sarvātmanā parityājam māmekam saranam bhaja. Every intelligent man must agree to this proposal. One must surrender unto the God to be saved from the will of repeated birth. So here it is said that howsoever sophisticated environment we create by our gorgeous arrangement we create by our economic development, by our political maneuvering, by our advancement of technology, but nobody can surpass the death, disease, old age, all the things. All these opulences are very transient. Krishna says, "Kalosmi murtu sarvārasya." At the time of death, everything will be taken away, stripped away from us. All these opulences, all this position, association, assets, everything will be taken away forcibly. So therefore it is all transient. There are so many people come and gone in the history. So many empire has come, British Empire, Greek Empire, Napoleon Bonaparte, Adolf Hitler, Mahatma Gandhi. They have gone into oblivion by the time. Nobody cares for them now. Their popularity influence has gone by the time. Therefore one should not think by great. Only great they are there. Only great is, the Supreme Lord. If we take shelter of the Lord, then we can be saved. Otherwise, everything, all our so-called temporary opulences, influence, popularity, money, everything will be taken away. And who can take away? The Supreme Lord in the form of time. He takes away. He takes away. This time factor is so important. The beautiful verses on time factor. Let me see if I can find out from my notes. This time factor is so important. Kalosmi ahaṁ. If there any the time factor is there, yes. If there are any verses in my notes, very important verses for time factor, I forget. Yes, it must be there. Yes. Yes, this is the beautiful verse, 3:26-16 is there. And 3:27, 3:26-16, very beautiful verses. That how everything will be gone by time factor. The time factor is so powerful. Kalosmi, Krishna says Bhagavad-gītā, Kalosmi ahaṁ. I am the time factor. The influence of the Supreme Personality Godhead is felt in time factor, which causes fear of death due to the false ego or deluded soul who has contracted material nature. Exactly, beautiful, beautiful. Exactly. Lord comes and takes away. It's a matter of time only. Another verses is there, 6:327. No, I don't think this one. Okay. So we can go back to these beautiful verses again. Next prayer. My dear Lord, now I have complete experience concerning the worldly opulence, mystic power, longevity, other material pleasures enjoyed. As powerful time, you destroy them. Therefore, because of my experience, I do not wish to possess them. My dear Lord, I request you to place me in touch with your pure devotee. Let me serve him as a sincere servant. This is very important verse. So I know that it is all temporary. Time factor, everything will be taken away from me. So, by studying Srimad-Bhagavatam, every intelligent man gets experience like Prahlad Maharaj through the historical incident mentioned in great literature of spiritual knowledge. By following in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj, one should gain through experience that all the material opulence is perishable at every moment. Even this body for which try to acquire so many sensual pleasure may perish at time. The soul, however, is eternal, na-ḥaṇyate manīṣam. Soul is never vanquished, even when the body is destroyed. Intelligent men therefore should care for the happiness of the spirit soul, not for the body. Even one receive the body with a long duration of like those of Lord Brahma, other great demigod, will also be destroyed. Therefore, an intelligent man should be concerned with the imperishable spirit soul. To save oneself must take the shelter of the devotee. Narottam Das Thakur said that Chhadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Payachake. Without association of devotee, we cannot get out. We cannot get out from this world. All these so-called opulences. This is a practical experience by Prahlad Maharaj. His father was so much opulences. He conquered even Indraloka. All demigods are fighting. Some of the demigods cutting vegetable in his kitchen. Somebody is mopping. Somebody is cooking. But everything has been finished in a moment by Nrsimhadev. It's a matter of time. Therefore, he is telling, I have had experience. I only wanted a association of devotees. That is the only way to get out. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra kahe, Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi hoy. We should learn from Prabhupada, from Prahlad Maharaj, how to associate with devotees. That is very, very important. It's a very important verse 7:9-25. In this material world, every living entity desires some future happiness, which is exactly like Miriam's desert. Where is water in the desert? In other words, where is happiness in this material world? As for the body, what is its value? It is merely source of various diseases. So-called philosophers, scientists, politicians know this very well. But nonetheless, they aspire for temporary happiness. Happiness is very difficult to obtain because they are unable to control their sense. They run after so-called happiness of the material world, never come to the right conclusion. This is problem that. And so everybody wants to desire future happiness. Therefore, we are planning, but there is no happiness here. How can be? The tala saitake, what is that? The tala saikate bhari bindu. The tala saikate, the Vidyapati. The tala saikate bhari bindu sama sutta mitra ramana samadehu. We are trying to be happy here in this material world. How Sutra Mitra Ramani Samadhi. Sutra means children, Mitra means friend, society, friendship, love, wife. Unless there is no happiness. So one may say, unless there is no happiness, how they are struggling for this. So Vidyapati say, yes, there is happiness. Certainly there is happiness. Otherwise, why are the Vimuda and foolish people running after it? So he says that value of their happiness is a proportion of a drop of water in the desert. Means very hot, Saikate means sand. Who have seen the desert, they have got experience how it is intolerable during sunshine. Vast. I mean, they tract up land with sand. So naturally they require water. So if somebody say, he will give you, yes, I will give you water in a drop of water. What is called proportionate, token. It is called token. So, yes, you want water, take this water drop. So it is saying that what is the use of this drop of water? And for little bit of happiness, temporary happiness, we have a colossal loss. For that happiness, we have not come into the conclusion that unexhausted happiness is waiting. Once we take shelter of the Lord, once we purify our existence by taking shelter of the Lord, then we can get Brahma Sokyam Anantam. Nrsimhadev saying Brahma Sokyam. Suddhyam Sattam Suddhate. Tasmād Brahma Sokyam Anantam. But we are after the drop of water in a desert, very hot desert. It will not quench our thirst. It will not help us. So Prahlad Maharaj is telling, why? Give up all these things. What is the happiness here? There is no happiness as such. No happiness in this life. This is mirage actually. Happiness is mirage. This is a beautiful verses also that regarding happiness. I think Prahlad, Narada Muni is said. What is the word? Narada Muni has said this was beautiful. Yathā, a man may carry burden on this head. When he feels too heavy, he sometimes gives relief to his head by putting the burden on his shoulder. In this way, he tries to relieve himself of a burden. However, whatever processes he devises to counteract the burden does nothing more than put the same burden from one place to another. This is not happiness. Is counteracting your distress is not happiness. This is not happiness. Dukkham pratikaram is not the happiness. Another verse is stated that dukkham pratikaram sukham manyate. Dukkham kurban dukkham pratikaram sukham manyate grihi. He asks just to counteract his misery, and if he can successfully counteract such misery, he thinks he is happy. This is illusory happiness. Hog also thinking that he is happy. Any species of life, people think that I am happy in that species because we are deluded by this illusory energy, maya. So therefore, there is no happiness, Prahlad Maharaj is telling. There is no happiness. I have my practical experience. O my Lord Supreme, because I was born in a family full of hellish material qualities, passion, ignorance, what is my position? What is to be said, your causeless mercy, which was never offered even to the Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, God is a fortune. You never put your lotus hand upon their hands, but you have put it upon me. That is so important. So Lord never put this hand, but when Prahlad Maharaj approached to the Lord, after Lord Nrsimhadev killed the Hiranyakasipu, and Prahlad Maharaj was pushed by Brahma to go to near to Nrsimhadev and offer prayer. When he approached to Nrsimhadev and came near to him, Nrsimhadev put his hand before just prayer. Before this prayer, Lord is putting his hand on the head of Prahlad Maharaj. So he was telling that although I am born in a very demoniac family, demoniac blood, mode of passion and ignorance is flowing. Nonetheless, you have put your hand on me, which the Brahma, Lord Shiva and Lakshmi Devi has never got these privileges. But Prahlad Maharaj was surprised at the causeless mercy of Supreme Lord. Although Prahlad was born in a demoniac family, although Lord had never before placed his lotus hand on the head of Brahma, Shiva and Goddess of Fortune, his constant companion, Lord Nrsimhadev kindly placed his hand on the head of Prahlad. This is the meaning of causeless mercy. The causeless mercy of Supreme Lord may be bestowed upon anyone regardless his position. In this material world, everyone is eligible to worship Supreme Lord irrespective of his material position. This is confirmed that 𝒂𝒕𝒖𝒓𝒅𝒂𝒔𝒊 bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitayam brahma bhuyaya. Anybody can, but engaging in devotional service, one can come to the Lord and can get this privilege. So the next prayers. Unlike an ordinary living entity, my Lord, you do not discriminate between friends and enemy, the favorable and unfavorable, because for you there is no conception of higher low. Very, very important thing. So for the Lord, there is no discrimination. Yathā prapañjante taṃ tathaiva ahaṁ bhajāmi. As you surrender, I reward. Na vedescho na priyasti. If you surrender as a devotee, I declare, na me bhakta pranashyati. My devotee will never perish. If you do not surrender, you will be lost, Krishna says. Vinakshasi. So it is up to one. So Lord is not like partiality, or Lord is not like favorable, discriminating friend. But whosoever surrendering, he is giving accordingly. So Krishna therefore says, sarvātmanā yanti deva deva-brata vinti janti prati brata bhutani janti bhutecha yanti mam. Prabhupada quoted in the purport. If somebody want to promote it to heavenly planet, okay, you go. Somebody wanted to go to Pitri-loka, go. Somebody want to go to ghost planet, go. But somebody wants to come to me, he can come to Vaikuntha planet. So according to one desires, man proposes, God disposes. So Lord is not partial that, okay, he is partial to Prahlad Maharaj. No. He is partial. According to his devotional service, Lord is awarding. But whatever it may be, one should surrender to the Lord. My dear Lord, Supreme Lord, because of my association with material desire one after another, I was gradually falling into the blind well full of snakes following general populace. But your servant Narada Muni kindly accepted me as his disciple, instructed me how to achieve this transcendental position. Therefore, my first duty is to serve him. How could I leave his? Very important, very, very important verse. So, soham katham na 𝑵𝒂𝒕𝒖𝒓𝒅𝒂𝒔𝒊. Very, very important verses. Prahlad Maharaj was directly offered all benediction he might have desired. He refused to accept such offering from Supreme Lord. On the contrary, he asked the Lord to engage him in the service of his servant Narada. Tadera charana sevi bhakta sane vas. Janame janame hoy abhilash. So therefore, one should not be anxious to offer direct service to the Lord. No. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Gopi bhatta pada kamala dasa dasanu dasa. One should always, the process of approaching Supreme Lord is first service should be rendered to spiritual master. Guru Krsna Consciousness. First Guru Asraya. Ahaṁ Guru Asraya. Sadharma-prica. First Guru Asraya. We take shelter of Guru. Dasya prasada bhagavat prasada. By the mercy of Guru we can. Guru Krishna prasada paya bhakti latabi. First Guru, then Krishna. Then only we can approach. Otherwise, we cannot approach directly. Lord himself said that he cannot be directly approached. In this beautiful verse, he has told that in Adi Purana, yame bhakta jana parthanami bhaktasya jana. Mad bhaktanam jo me bhakta, tame bhakta tamamata. Lord Krishna told to Arjuna, those who are my direct devotees are actually not my devotee, but those who are devotee of my servant are actually my devotee. So therefore, one should learn from this beautiful verses 7, 9, 28. So Prahlad Maharaj telling, how can I leave Narada Muni? By his mercy somehow I can get you. You appear. Therefore, very important to approach the Lord through the devotees, through this spiritual master particularly. Ahaṁ Guru Asraya. This is stated also in this CC Madhya, I think, one of the verses, 23. It is said that Ahaṁ Guru Asraya, then Sadharma-prica. Then sadhu marga anugamanam. I am not able to get this one anyway. Sadhu marga to follow the sadhu. These three things is very important. The Rupa Goswami has said, Ahaṁ Guru Asraya. First you take shelter of Guru, then Sadham Pricha, then you take shelter of you and you follow the Guru, follow the instruction of the Guru, sadhus. The next one is very important verses also. O my Lord, unlimited reservoir of transcendental quality, you have killed my father Hiranyakashipu and saved me from the sword. He said very angrily, if there is any supreme controller other than me, let him save you. I shall now sever your hand from your body. Therefore, I think both in saving me and killing me, you have acted just to prove true words of your devotee. This is very good. Prabhupada is writing, Samaham sarva bhuteshu name disyos name priya e bhajantu tumam bhakta maiteshu japiham. The Supreme Personality of God, it is undoubtedly equal to everyone. He is no friend, no enemy. But as one desires to benefit from the Lord, Lord is very pleased to award them. And lower and higher position of different living entity are due to their desire. So for Lord being equal to all, fulfill everyone desire. The killing of Hiranyakashipu, saving of Prahlad also strictly followed this law of Supreme Controller. And Prahlad Maharaj, so this is very important point. So Lord has come because when Prahlad Maharaj was in mother's sky, the womb, that time Narada Muni gave insurance that Prahlad Maharaj, be saved from the enemy's hand. Because Krishna has promised Prahlad Maharaj, when demigods, they approached to kill Prahlad Maharaj, Narad Muni stopped them and he assured that Prahlad Maharaj cannot be killed by enemy hand. And also Krishna has promised Kaunteya pratijani name bhakta pranasati. So Lord appearance is for two things. Because his servant Narada Muni has given word that this Prahlad Maharaj cannot be killed by any enemy's hand. So to fulfill nijavurtyavasitam, sattam vidatum nijavurtyavasitam, to fulfill the word of his servant as a true. And Kaunteya pratijani name bhakta, he declared to Arjuna that my devotee will never perish. So both for these two things simultaneously he has appeared. So he is not partial, he has appeared for that purpose. My dear Lord, alone you manifest yourself with the entire cosmic manifestation. You existed before creation, you exist after annihilation, maintainer between the beginning and the end. All this is done by your external energy through action, reaction, and three modes of material nature. Therefore, whatever exists externally is internally is your alone. Very, very important point. Everything. Ekapyaso rachaitam jagadanda koti koti suasisa. This Prabhupada also quoted the same thing. Ekapyaso rachaitam jagadanda koti myaschakurasi jagatanda chaya dandantarastha paramanuchana. So Lord is mayatatam idam sarva. Everything is potency. He doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to work anything. Actually, he doesn't need to come to the rescue also. Because he has parasya sakti vivideva svete. He has so many potency. That potency will work. But why he is coming? He is coming to protect his devotees, to give pleasure to devotee. He personally comes. That can be done by his potency. That is the idea. How much Lord is vigata-viklava. Is vigata-viklava. At the same time, he is kripana-viklava. He killed Hiranyakashipu and gave liberation to him. So Lord is all merciful. In this way, Prahlad Maharaj is praying very nicely and is coming to the point of, oh my Lord, entire cosmic creation is caused by you. The cosmic manifestation is affected by your energy. So same thing is telling that everything is from you actually. So he is coming to the point that very important verses is coming. Naivadajya paradurataya vaitarani. तद्वीर्यगायन महामृत भग्नचित सोचित विमुख चेतसा इंद्रियत्थमाय सुखाय भारम उद्भवतमि गुणान. Very important words Prabhupada always quote. Oh, best of great personality, I am not all afraid of your material existence. For whatever I say, I am always absorbed in the thought of your glories and activity. My concern is only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material happiness, maintaining their family, society, countries, and I am simply concerned with love for them. That is very important. How to live for others. Prahlad Maharaj is showing how the preaching is the essence. Prabhupada, the preaching is the essence. Without preaching, everything is like a stagnated, just like neophyte devotees. All stagnated. They do not preach, they do not hear. How to preach if you do not hear it? You do not read it. There is no question of preaching, na? Simply I am putting tilak and I am a very good relationship with management. I am very good, I am very recognized. This is nonsense. So here Prahlad Maharaj is telling, no, I am not afraid of this. Because why? Tadaviryagayena mahamritamagna. Because I am glorifying you. I am always absorbed in your hearing your activities. Therefore I am not afraid of all these things. But I am concerned. I am concerned about these fools and rascals. They are making plan to become happy in this material world. I simply concerned. They cannot be happy. They are fool. They are doomed to failure. It is said that they are doomed to failure. They have no idea. To elevate them, I am here. That is called paropakari. Vaishnava means always concerned about others. Not that I am okay, then I am fine. I don't care for others. It is stated is there that, my dear king, in the material world, the conditioned soul are confronted by death every step of life. Therefore, who among the conditioned soul would not render service to the lotus feet of Mukti? No, this is not the verse. Yeah, a purified soul should see, because the conditioned soul who are dedicated to sense gratification have falsely accepted the object of sense pleasure as truth. All their endeavors are doomed to failure. A purified soul like Prahlad Maharaj could see that. So, tasmād I am concerned about these fools and rascals. They are making elaborate planet in this material world. In this world of unhappiness, sorrow, misery and temporary, they are making the plans to become happy and make it permanent. How it is possible? They have no idea. Therefore, they are doomed to failure. I am concerned about them. They have no idea. Their plans will be fertile. What is that verse? Lord Shiva is speaking also. That, my dear Lord, all living entities within this material world are mad after planning for things. They are always busy with desire to do this, do that. This is due to uncontrolled greed. The greed for material enjoyment is always existing in the living entity. But your Lordship is always alert. In due course of time, you strike him just as a snake seizes a mouse, very easily swallowed. That is the thing. They are trying to be happy, but if they cannot, struggling for existence, nobody can exist. Therefore, is concerned about. This is called Vaishnava should be concerned about others. Most highest welfare activities is living for others. Prabhupada given a very nice, this chapter Prabhupada given a very extensive purport, very much absorbed, immersed in the purport. Prayena deva munaya subhimukti kama maunam charati vijane na paraha na prarthanista naitam vihaya kripanan vimukha nanyam tad asya saranam brahmatvanapesya. So very nice it is stated that, my dear Lord, I see that there are many saintly persons, indeed they are interested only in their own deliverance, not caring for the big cities. They go to Himalayas, the forest to meditate with vows of silence. They are not interested in delivering others. As for me, however, I do not wish to be liberated alone. Leaving aside the poor fools and rascals, I know that without Krishna consciousness, without taking shelter of lotus feet, one cannot be happy. Therefore, I wish to bring them back to shelter. See, this is what Vaishnavas, para-upakara, para-dukkha-dukkhi. That is Vaishnava, always concerned about others, always want to deliver. They are not, but some people, they went to Himalaya for his own vimukta. But here, Prahlad Maharaj is so good. Not only his pure devotee, but also his compassion, extreme compassion for others. That made him exalted. Very extremely compassionate. He does not want to go back to Vaikuntha alone. He wants to take us back, take the conditioned soul like us back. So excellent characteristic. That topics will be in another session actually. It was so beautiful verse. Let us some beautiful verses in this regard. Here it is said that this, O my Lord, great devotee person like you, move from one place to another, not for their own interest, but for the sake of poor-hearted grahastha householder. Otherwise, they have no interest in going from one place to another. That is what Prahlad Maharaj. He does not want to go alone and sit down one place, do Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He wanted to preach and take everybody back. That is so important. O my Lord, great philanthropic soul, travel on the earth on behalf of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So compassion to the fallen soul who are able to the sense of subordination to the Lord. This is what Srila Prabhupada moved like Prahlad Maharaj. Alone he went in a very cargo ship, 37 days, undergoing heart attack, so many trials, facing so many trials, tribulation, troubles, only for concern about his other living conditioned soul, to deliver the conditioned soul. He do not know where to go, right and left, but still he went at the age of 69, most of them will be sitting in the home, playing with the grandchildren, but he took the risk. That is Vaishnava, para-dukkha-dukkhi. He took the risk and Krishna bestowed him. Within 12 years, he created changing the face of the world. That is very important. So in this way, Prahlad Maharaj is praying very nicely. So there is a beautiful verses here also. That the self-effulgent Vaikuntha planet, by whose illumination alone in all illuminating planet within this material world give off the reflected light, cannot be reached by those who are not merciful to other living entity. Only person who constantly engage in welfare activities for other living entity can reach the Vaikuntha planet.
That is very important. Unless we are thinking of others, we cannot go to ye. Krishna also says that whosoever preaches, they are my dear. In this way, Prahlad Maharaj is praying very nicely, and one of the beautiful verses, 2 verses we will see, and before winding up. My camera is getting some problem also, I cannot, so anyway, this is very beautiful verses. So, a beautiful prayer. यन्मेथनादिगृहमदि सुखमितुच्छं काण्डुनेन करौ ये दुःख दुःखं तृप्यन्ति न्यायकृपण बहु दुःखवज्जकण्डुतां मनसि जामि चेतधीर. Sex life is compared to the rubbing of 2 hands to relieve an itch. Grāhamedi, so-called grahastha who have not spiritual knowledge, think that itching is the greatest platform of happiness, although actually it is a source of distress. The kripana fools who are just opposite to Brahmana are not satisfied by repeated sensuous enjoyment. Those who are dhiras, however, are sober, who tolerate this itching, are not subject to the suffering of fools. This is very important verses. There are 2 kinds of people, Brahmana and Kripana. Brahmana means who knows the progressive life. Kripana means I have got money, but I do not spend. That is called Kripana, Maija. Karpanya dosapata sabha, Arjuna say, like, he is a military man, but he does not want to fight. So, we have got human form of life. Our main purpose, athāta brahma jigyāsa, how to go back to Godhead, inquiry about absolute truth and go back to Godhead, but we are not interested for that. We are not at all interested for this, all these things. Therefore, we are called Kripana. Why? Because you are thinking that this happiness, this sensual happiness, sex happiness is highest. There is nothing beyond that. So they have no idea that. Still they are not satisfied, satiated by itching. This is itching sensation, just temporary. But still they are not interested. I mean, they are not, they are not satiated. Therefore, those who are dhiras means those are not disturbed by all this sensual pleasure, sensual titillation, stimulations, agitation. When we are not disturbed, dhiras tatra nam. Dhira means his mind is not disturbed. So they know that this itching sensation is not good. Bahut dukkha, they create a lot of dukkha. It will bind us. It will not allow us to go back to Godhead. It will not allow us to go back to Godhead. So therefore, Prahlad Maharaj is skipping this. Why the people are not interested? Because of uncontrolled senses, uncontrolled senses, sensual pleasure. What is that uncontrolled sensual pleasure? Sex. Sex is the concentration of all this sensual pleasure. It's the highest of sensual pleasure, zenith point of sensual pleasure. In this human form of life, men and women united for sensual pleasure of sex, but by actual experience we have observed that none of them are happy. Therefore, seeing the contrary result, have stopped taking part in the material. There is a beautiful verse, 7:30-26. So in this way, he is telling that why these grahasthas, they do not take shelter of the Lord. And finally, the last verses of prayer, 7, 9, 50, is telling that there is 6 ways of rendering service. Therefore, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, the best of a person to whom the prayers are offered, I offer my respectful obeisance to you, because without rendering 6 kind of devotional service unto you, offering prayer, dedicating all the result of activities, worshipping you, working on your behalf, always remembering your lotus feet, hearing about your glories, who can achieve what is meant for Paramahansa? That is very important. Lord cannot be achieved by any other thing. Na ayam atma pravachanena labhya na medya na bahuna sutrena. We cannot understand the Supreme Lord simply by studying Veda, offering prayers. Only by the grace of Supreme Lord can one understand Him. The process of understanding the Lord, therefore, is bhakti. Without bhakti, simply following the Vedic injunction to understand the absolute truth will not be helpful at all. The process of bhakti is understood by Paramahansa, who has accepted the essence of everything. The result of bhakti are reserved for such Paramahansa. This stage cannot be obtained by any Vedic process other than devotional service. Other processes such as Jnana, Yoga can be successful only when it is mixed with Bhakti. When you speak of Jnana, Karma, Dhyana, Yoga, the word Yoga indicates Bhakti. So unless this Yoga, Karma is mixed with Bhakti, we cannot. So therefore, Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga executed with intelligence, full of knowledge, is only successful method of going back to Godhead. If one wants to be liberated from pangs of material existence, one should take devotional service for quick attainment of the spiritual goal. Very important. Sarvātmanā parityāja māmekam sanna. Manmana bhava mad bhakta mad jaji mam namaskaro. Mami vasyasi sattam se pratijane priyat. Krishna said devotional service. Always think of me by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. You become devotee, worship me, offer obeisances, 4 things. You go back to, you become my devotee, go back to Godhead. Sarva dharman parityāja māmekam. This is saranam, devotional service. Sarvanam kirtanam Vishnu smaranam. Thank you very much. These prayers are very foundational, as I told. These are foundational prayers to improve our, increase our devotional service by following the Mahajana like Prahlad Maharaj. भक्त शिरोमणि जय श्री नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, जय भक्त विघ्न विनाश नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, जय भक्तराज प्रहलाद महाराज की, ताय गुरु हरि बोल, जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय।